Hello, everyone. Thank you for the invitation to react on the survey conducted by uh, ASO. Political remittances actually had been there for a long time, long before Peggy Levitt coined the word social remittances in 2001. The Filipino diasporas abroad have already been exercising the political remittances, although it was not called at that time or coined at that time. If you remember, one is during the time of martial law. Benigno Aquino mobilized the Filipinos in the United States and elsewhere to topple down the dictatorship. And the same true with other countries in Europe. There were pockets, groups of Filipinos doing a campaign against the dictatorship. Number two, in 1995, it was very clear that after the hanging of Flor Contemplacion in Singapore, there was a massive outrage, expression of outrage among the Filipinos at home and abroad about the lack of protection of the migrant workers abroad. And so at that time, the same year, 1995, President Ramos signed the Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipinos Act. That was an in reaction to contemplation. And also in the same year, the Philippine government became signatory of the United Nations Convention, International Convention to protect the rights of migrant workers and their families. And then in 2003, diaspora lead campaign for the passage of overseas absentee voting and dual citizenship, which lasted for three congresses. That was spearheaded mainly by Filipinos abroad. So in this case, you can see that there is indeed a potentials political remittances among the diasporas. But in a case regarding the COVID-19, would we expect that there will be a massive or meaningful changes in terms of policy making, influencing policy making in the Philippines by the overseas Filipinos? I know that at the present mindset and at the present thinking and the way Filipinos working abroad are working, in terms that I think it not so much difference. I think to be able to exercise political remittances, there must be a vanguard, a sort of frontliners, a group of enlightened, progressive groups to be able to mobilize dissatisfaction or dissatisfaction of the Filipinos abroad, to be able to make or influence policy changes in policies and practices in the country. If you remember, in 1995, the President Ramos sent an airplane to repatriate the 30,000 Filipinos working in Singapore because they were very vulnerable. But the fact is, only very few turned out who were willing to go home. So the political remittances might be there to translate it into power, of electoral power. I'm not sure, because during the COVID, for instance, only very few have already being assisted by the government. If you have, in fact, in my place in Bansalan, if you have families abroad, you are not in, the families are in the priority to receive ayuda. So I wonder really how many people would or families have assisted, and if there are any assistance, only those who are in distress, those who really lose their job, and after that, or repatriating dead bodies. But going home, of those who went home, were the government able to find a job for them? That is also a big question. That's why it is important to note, maybe to see among the respondents, who are those who are already having a citizenship in the countries of origin and those who have none, because the reaction would be different. Migrant workers in Hong Kong who are temporary, they are going home, And they must be very careful in making a statement that would antagonize the government. But for those who have already citizenship in their host countries, they are less vulnerable and they can be politically open in their opinion. But the thing is, I have been involved in migration and development advocacy since 1990s. I can see the difference between before and today. Today, overseas Filipinos are less political. And those who are active in the, 20, in the year 2000 and 1990s are getting older and maybe a little bit tired to continue with advocacy. So the important thing here is for the study is to find out how to mobilize these political remittances so they can really make a difference, for example, in the next election and in influencing policies within the government. And just last two things, it cannot be compared with the Mexican migrants because they were recognized as institutional partners of the Mexican government. They are part of the planning and implementation, while most of the Filipino overseas workers are just recipients of the Philippine government programs like OWA. We are not really being treated as equal partner or equal change agents who sit down and plan with them on how to harness the development potential of migration and linking it to development. That is my contribution reaction to the paper. Thank you.